Hey y'all, it's Bear, and today I'm here to talk to you about some of my favorite book tropes. I filmed this video a while ago, but it's kind of old, it's a little out of date, and I don't feel the same way about a lot of the tropes that are on that list. Plus, I needed an updated version, right? It's like been 2 years since I filmed that video. I'm ready to do new things. However, a lot of them are still the same, like this first one, which is cheerleader books. I don't know why, but I love a good cheerleader protagonist, a cheerleader love interest, a cheerleader side character. If there's a cheerleader in it, I'm probably gonna try and read it. Not to ramble on too much about this because I feel like I could do like a whole deep dive, and that's that I understand that cheerleading as an act, as a sport, is not necessarily a feminine thing, right? It's stupid to gender sports. We're all in agreement of that. But because cheerleading for the longest time was so hyper feminized by society, I had always been told, like, you can't be feminine at all. You need to be more masculine. You need to butch it up so people don't make fun of you. So reading books with characters who are in a hyper feminine role kind of gives me that I missed in my formative years. Next we have the sins of the father coming back to get you. I don't know what this trope is called. I just call it the sins of the father, where the monster is coming for the main character and the monster only exists for some reason because of the adults in the character's life or their family or something bad that the parent did. I love revenge stories and retribution stories, and I think that this is kind of revenge of the bad guy. It's not necessarily a bad monster, it's just doing what it's supposed to do. I like monsters being monsters, I guess, specifically whenever it deals with fucked up shit that your family did before you were born. Next is another one that kind of ties into the horror thing we have going on right now, and that's slashers. I love slashers so much. Slasher is my favorite horror movie subcategory, and it's quickly becoming my favorite book subcategory too, as I'm finding more of them. I think it's just because that's one way that my family bonded growing up, was we would pop in a slasher movie. It's something that was very important to me growing up, and it continues to be very important to me as an adult. Next one, I once again don't know what the proper name for it is, but it's childhood friends reuniting as teens or young adults. And this doesn't even have to necessarily be a childhood friends to lovers thing. I don't need that. I need two friends who were very close friends and then they diverged paths and then they came back together. I just need My Little Diamond. I don't need a heart. So in Mooncakes and A Map to the Sun. Ironically, both of these are graphic novels that do this. Maybe I like it specifically in graphic novels. Next is one romance trope that I do kind of fall in for, and I didn't realize it until I was getting the books together for this video, and that is fake dating. I don't know whenever I became a fan of fake dating. I don't know. I'm not a romance reader. So I like this whole back and forth. Most of the time they don't really want to be fake dating, but they're doing it for convenience purposes. I just like watching the slow progression of these little bitchy things that you say to each other turning into inside jokes, turning into your romancy things. I don't know. Fake dating just works for me. Also, these covers are very similar in color. Another horror trope, and that's spooky houses, spooky castles, spooky manors, Gothic vibes. I'm not a huge fan of classics at all. We know this. There are a couple that I like, but I don't read a lot of classics. However, I think the classics I would be most likely to enjoy would be Gothic lit. So if you have any recommendations, let me know. Next is one that I never really see anywhere. I feel like it had its moment, and then the moment ended, and then it's had a slight resurgence, and then the resurgence ended way too quickly for my taste. And that is video game or virtual reality or whatever this is. I love video game books. Anything that gives me vibes of that season of Yu-Gi-Oh where they got sucked into the virtual reality duel monsters and they had to fight for their life. If you know what I'm talking about, say hello. It's just something so interesting of having this separation of this is the real world where we are kind of miserable or living out our mundane day-to-day lives that we still have issues in and we have to deal with, and then escaping to this whole other world that's just in our computer screens. Incidentally, Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase was my favorite Scooby-Doo movie growing up, so. Next is another horror one that I don't know the name of, and this is, this monster has been in this specific place for a very long time, and we're all aware that it exists, but no one's really doing anything about it. I think it's just something so eerie about knowing, like, the place that you've lived for years has something that's killing people, and no one's really talking about it, and no one's addressing it, and no one wants to do anything about it. That's my thing. I always want to do stuff about the problems. I want to fix the problems. So whenever it's been going on for years and no one seems to want to fix the issue, that's like, it causes me stress and tension, which I need while I'm reading horror. Next, we have one that is mostly prominent in middle grade, and that is save the blank. Save the town, save the festival, save the amusement park, save the school, save the band, save the club, whatever. And I just think because, especially in middle grade, like whenever you're a kid, things that are low stakes as an adult, they felt so big when you were a kid. So being able to touch into these emotions of like home and comfort and family and safety and familiarity. That's how you say that word. And familiarity are just, I feel like with middle grade, it just hits in a really good spot. I like this thing. I call it the Coraline effect. I don't know what it is, but it's kids who are kind of stolen away from their lives to this place where everything is amazing and these people love you and they're there to dote on you and everything you wish is available if you just wish for it. But like there's something darker and sinister going on. What's this called? I don't know. I've looked on TV tropes. I can't find what this is called. It's like an idealized kid's dream version of your life with candy and presents, but like monsters that are secretly like just there to eat you. What's it called? I call it the Coraline effect. Give me an answer. Next one, multiple perspectives. The more the better. A lot of people have issues the more characters and more perspectives you clump into a book. However, if you can do it well, like Tommy Orange and Nydia Okorafor, then you can do it well, and I love it, and I love you. It's fine if you just have like a set number of characters like Tommy Orange. I think it straight up says like you have 12. And if you go even deeper with Nydia Okorafor and just have like a character that you have on screen for like 8 paragraphs, just long enough for them to like tell you about their death, that's cool too. I used to think it was annoying, but I think as a person who's a very character-driven reader, the more characters I get to spend time with and get in their heads, the better. This next one used to be horror specific, but since then I've kind of like branched out a little bit more. Any book set around the ocean at all. I've talked about this a lot. Like I love ocean books, I love shark books. That's like a synonymous thing for me. Whenever people think bear, they think about sharks. But I feel like in order for it to really hit this idea that I have, it has to include like ocean animals. It has to include creatures from the depths. So you have the whales that are like floating around outside their underwater submersible things and the light at the bottom of the world, or the shark that's possessed by the little dangly leg stinky creatures in Gil. Oh my god, where's the picture? Where is the picture of the shark? Can we talk about it? I'm in love. Next up is a trope that I guess would be classified as like a speculative genre, but it's very specifically the kind of speculative where you know that creatures and magic exist alongside the real world. I like whenever there is a societal awareness that like monsters and creatures and magic exists alongside humans. So I think that these are 2 books that do it really well in very different ways. Next, we have one that I didn't really know that I loved until my Best Books of 2020 video, and that is soft ghost stories. I don't think ghosts are scary at all. Ghosts have never worked for me as a horror device, but like in a soft, cute way, abso-fucking-lutely. Next is a cover trend that I was really into for a minute. It stopped and I'm mad and I want it back. And that is like the backs of denim jackets having the title. I can think of a couple of other books like this. This is so fucking appealing to me. And for a while, there were quite a few books that had like these exact same covers. And I love it. I wish it had kept going. Is that like a reading trope? No, but it's something that I love. So next we have Native American dystopians, things like Trail of Lightning or The Marrow Thieves. I love seeing indigenous characters existing in the future. I've talked about this a little bit on my channel, but there's this whole concept that Native people have already been through the apocalypse, because we have. Seeing us in a future apocalypse, a second apocalypse, and seeing the way that indigenous people survive. And I feel like because there are so many different native cultures across the Americas, you get something different and unique and really, really cool every single time. And it's always something different. You never know whenever you pick up a Native American authored dystopian what you're gonna get exactly. And it's gonna be different from the last one you read. They're always gonna be unique and cool. Next is one that I feel like is actually pretty common, but I can't tell you many books that have this, and that's like games and tournaments and stuff. I just want to see a bunch of people fight and have a good time, because I feel like that tension is enough to drive the plot as a baseline, and then you can kind of like throw in other elements that you want. So like this is something I very much enjoy. And finally, this is the one that is the most recent, like, oh shit, I really like this. Short stories or anthologies, where all of the stories are different, but they tie together in some way. So for example, Anoka by Shane Hawk. All of the stories are separate and can be read separately, but they all tie together being in this town. Lovecraft Country by Matthew Ruff. All of the stories can be read independently, but they all follow like this family and group of people, and it makes sense if you read them all together. Like short stories, anthologies that have like a common running thread that like have plot relevance to each other, like intertwining horror collections. Let me know if you know the word for this. That's all I have for you today. If you enjoyed this video, then let me know by leaving a thumbs up and subscribing and liking and hitting the bell and all that shit while you are downstairs, as well as answering the comment question of the day. What's your favorite thing in a book? Is it a cover trend that you like? Is it a plot? Is it a theme? Is it a setting? Is it a character archetype? What is it that really draws you in? And if you know of any books that you would recommend that fit into any of the things I've mentioned today, let me know downstairs, because I would love to check them out. And if you don't have time, you don't have the spoons, you don't have an answer, you don't care about any of the things that I've just asked you, let me know you made it all the way until the end of the video by leaving me an emoji, preferably a yellow heart, or a smiley face emoticon if you don't have access to emojis on your keyboard. All of my social medias and everything I've mentioned today will be downstairs, so make sure you click that link tree at the top of my description. But yeah, that's all I have for you today. I hope you have a wonderful, whatever it is, wherever you are. I will see you next time with another video. Thank you for watching. Okay, cool. Bye.